So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she?
Let me see if I can clear this up for you, bozo, and for your followers. Kamala Harris is the vice president, not the president. The vice president doesn't draft policy. Her role is more about supporting the president, acting as a tiebreaker in the Senate, and representing the administration on the global stage. In fact, Kamala has made a significant impact as vice president. She's been a key voice in foreign diplomacy, advocating for voting rights and breaking critical ties in the Senate to help push through legislation that benefits working families. But again, she isn't the one writing economic policy. That's the president's job. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the orange one, the economy. Biden and Harris walked into a disaster, an economy decimated by a global pandemic that was grossly mishandled by you, Donald Trump. Remember when you were downplaying the severity of COVID, delaying action and causing mass confusion? That mishandling resulted in over 22 million jobs lost and small businesses closing their doors for good. The economy tanked under your watch because you didn't take the pandemic seriously. But let's fast forward to today. The Biden-Harris administration has been on a Herculean mission to clean up the mess that you left behind. Under their leadership, the economy has added over 13 million jobs. Unemployment is down to historic lows. Wages are rising. The Inflation Reduction Act is helping families with healthcare costs and prescription drug prices. Even the supply chain is stabilizing. But here's the thing. People still feel like they're struggling. Here's why. It's like treating a severely ill patient. The economy took a massive hit, and while it's getting better, it still isn't at 100%. Just because the patient isn't up and running around the hospital doesn't mean that they're not on the road to recovery. It just means that this is going to take a little more time. If we think of America as that patient, we need to stay the course. The worst thing we could do is let someone like Trump, who poisoned the patient in the first place, take over again and undo the progress that we've made. Kamala Harris is more than qualified to take over as the specialist who can continue this recovery and get us back to full strength. But she's going to need a Congress that actually works with her and not against her. That's why it is crucial to have a House and a Senate that aren't roadblocks to her plans. Now, some Republicans will try to paint her as some extreme liberal who's just handing out gifts and handouts. Let's break that down. Giving young families $25,000 to help them buy their first home isn't a handout, it's a hand up. It's an investment in the American dream and in our economy. Home ownership means stability, and that money will circulate back into the economy, creating even more growth. And when Republicans cry about spending, let's not forget it's always a Democratic president who comes in and cleans up the budget mess left behind by a Republican administration. Democrats focus on investing in people, infrastructure, and long-term growth. Republicans, they explode the deficit with tax cuts for billionaires and giant corporations. And if you're wondering what Donald Trump's economic plan is, well, that's easy. It's to give his billionaire buddies more tax breaks and kiss up to dictators like Putin. Remember when Kamala said that those dictators are rooting for him to win? It's true. They want America weakened, and having a a dummy in office would make it so much easier to pull the strings. So let's not be fooled by Trump's rhetoric and theatrics. The Biden-Harris administration is doing the hard work to heal this country. Kamala Harris is more than ready to lead the next phase of recovery, but we need to stay the course and give her the support she needs. We can't afford 4 more years of a man whose only strategy is to enrich himself and his friends while letting the rest of us suffer. Remember, America doesn't need a puppet. We need a president.